Hi, I'm Kieran from Bit by Bit Games, and today I'm going to run through the tutorial for our new game, MMA Manager. The idea of the video is basically to give you an idea of what the core of the game is, what you do, and why it's fun, why you should buy it. First things first, let's name our fight team. Bit of an obvious name, but I like it. Next, let's pick what weight classes my fighters are going to fight at. I tend to like the lighter weight classes, so I'm going to stick with these, but I'm going to change flyweight to lightweight. Next, you'd normally change where your team's based. That can affect which leagues are closer to where your home gym is, and thus travel costs and accommodation costs when you're fighting in them. But I like being based in Nevada. It's basically the fight capital of the world, so I'm going to stay there. So the whole point of MMA Manager is to set up your own fight team and gym, upgrade it and improve it, recruit fighters, recruit coaches, train your fighters to the highest level, get them to the best leagues in the world, and if you're good at it, win the belts. To do that, you need a fighter. Okay, we've got a decent range of fighters here. When you're picking a new fighter, best thing to look at is the rest stat. Generally, the higher the number, the better. I think I'm going to have to go for Big Barista here. He's got a great striking stat. Pretty good fitness as well. That should result in a nice high cardio and mean you can go faster and longer in fights. Let's have a look at his skills. Great. He's good at talking to the press. And, well, he'll never back down in a fight. Probably useful. Okay, so when you recruit a fighter, you can negotiate for how much of percentage your team takes for management fees. So that comes out of how much money the fighter makes. Speaking of which, I'm going to be greedy and ask for 20%. Brilliant, he accepted. And by recruiting him, I've achieved my first objective. There's various objectives through the game. They're nothing particularly hard or complicated. They're just things we think it would be a good idea for you to do. And to try and encourage you to do it, we give you money for it. Okay, so now I've recruited him. The local fight league is offering him a fight. The problem with local fight leagues is they're very small promotions. There's not many fighters fighting at that level, and they basically will take anyone who turns up on the night. So you've no idea who you're going to fight. They'll just they'll just ask you where on the card you're willing to fight. In this case, the main event pays more, so I'm going to go on the main event. It's a local fight, so it doesn't cost much to get to. It's basically petrol money and the cost of paying for food and coaching cornerman. But I'm still going to be cheap because I'm a brand new gym, don't have much money to spend in the first place. Okay, let's get to the fight. The tail of the tape basically breaks down where your fighter's strong against their opponent. So as you can see, my fighter's a better striker in all departments and slightly better wrestler, but it's fairly even, and he's about the same fitness. So that affects your game plan. In this case, I'm not as fit as the other fighter, so I want to stay on a balanced strategy, not use up all my cardio earlier in the fight. I'll still be fairly effective, but I won't get my fighter won't get tired too quickly. I'm a better striker, so I want to keep the fight standing. And since I'm staying standing, I probably want my fighter to focus on some striking techniques. So we'll go for a leg kick and keep him at distance with a jab. So now we're in the fight. You keep an eye on the health bar of your fighter and your opponent. You keep an eye on the cardio bars and any injuries that can appear. You also want to look out for events like this where you can call in and corner. Fantastic. Big Barista did exactly what I wanted, countered the submission attempt, scrambled to Bush's back and choked him unconscious. Not a bad start for his first fight. Oh, even better. You got a performance bonus. You don't get a performance bonus in every fight. Only when you've actually done, enough things to impress the league. That's generally flashy maneuvers, impressive things like big takedowns, submissions, knockouts, uh, spinning kicks, things like that. Get, doing all those also helps to increase your popularity. The more popular a fighter is, the more people turn up to watch him fight. And thus, the more promotions are going to be likely to offer you to fight for them because they know you'll bring an audience. After every fight, you get a breakdown of how much money the fighter's made. So as you can see, we got a performance bonus there, $500, which is an extra 50% onto his fight. An extra 100% onto his fight fee, which is great. And at the bottom here, we can see what the gym cut was. Works out well for us. We made $500. The league will also offer you feedback. In this case, they're very happy because not only did Big Bristol win, he won in impressive fashion and got a performance bonus. Big Barista's not happy though. Well, he's fairly happy. He did win and get the performance bonus. He is more popular. Great. However, he didn't have a sponsor. If he'd had a sponsor, he would have made more money. If he'd made more money, we would have made more money. He's also not very happy that I cheaped out in accommodation, but it's the local leagues. I'm a brand new gym. I don't have the cash to spend on that yet. Okay, so local being happy are offering another fight. Let's take that. And let's take the main event again, because again, as you can see, it offers $500 versus $300. And cheap on accommodation. It's just down the street, basically. Okay. As I said, he wasn't happy he didn't have a sponsor. Let's fix that. When it comes to sponsors, it's pretty important to look at what they'll pay for each slot in the card. For example, main events always pay more than main card. Main card always pays more than undercard. But some sponsors place different emphasis on where in the card. I mean, as you can see, Gladiator is not that different between the main event and the main card, and they'll help your fighter be more popular, which is pretty useful. So I think I'll go for... Well, I'm going to go for convict clothing actually, because I know my fighter is going to be in the main event because I just booked the fight, which is very handy. Okay, now let's get our fighter a coach. Try and get him a little bit better. So Big Brist is a striker. He already has decent striking, so let's get him a coach that focuses somewhere else. I think we'll go for Antoine Salinas. Not only has he got the highest stat here of his fitness of 45 compared to wrestling of 41 or striking 42, but fitness is really handy. The fitter a fighter is, the harder you can go in the fight, and the more effective their techniques will be throughout the entire fight. It's also got a decent coaching ability, so my fighter should learn fairly quickly. Looks like a good coach. When you hire a coach, you can negotiate for their salary and contract length. Contract length is fairly important. You don't want to hire someone for too long if they're not a lot better than your current fighters, because they can only train them up to their level of the stat. So Antoine's good, but in 2 years' time, I would hope my fighters would be more than fitness level 45. But if I keep him for 2 years, they're not going to be. He can only train them up to 45. So we'll offer him a year. I'll try and offer him a salary of $1,400. Great, accepted. Again, just a little bit of a reward for recruiting your first coach. Let's see how he does. Brilliant. Instant improvement. Big Briss has now got a good fitness of 36. Cardio is definitely very good. Now at the end of every month, you get this roundup screen that basically will show you what happened the previous month, who fought in other events, how your fighters improved, and that one with the big red and white badge on it is finance, which is basically the roundup of all your money that you spent and all the money that came in the month. It's got the badge on it, you want to look at it. Fairly straightforward, just list everything you spent money on, and yep, I lost money. Not too much, that's not so bad given I started the game with $100,000, so let's go to next month. But to try and offset the fact that I'm losing money, I'm going to recruit another fighter. If I've got another fighter, if I get a good one, he'll be in a better league than local, and he'll be able to earn more cash. If he earns more cash, my cut is going to be bigger, and the gym earns more cash, which keeps the lights on, which means we can train them, get them better. Now, since I want someone that's particularly good, I'm going to scout for him. You can invest different amounts of money into scouting. Basically, the amounts enable your scout to go to more events, to spend more money on the phone talking to people, to actually, get contracts, get reports, pay for videos. So the more money you spend, the more chance you have of actually finding prospects, and the more chance you have of finding good prospects. So since I really want a good prospect here, start my gym off in the right way. I'm going to spend the maximum amount. And that worked well. I've got some good wrestlers, some great strikers, and some high fitness people. So given I've got a fitness coach and and my other fighter's a striker, probably a good idea to mix it up a bit and go for someone with good wrestling. Doesn't hurt that Frankie Donut Griffith here has the best stat out of anyone. Yeah, good wrestler, good grappler, high fitness already. Great place to start. Let's have a look at his skills. So, brilliant. He'll fight smart, he'll make fans interested, and he's good at BJJ, so you'll already have unlocked interesting techniques. For example, things like the electric chair. Since he's a better fighter, I'm going to be a bit less aggressive when asking for a cut of his earnings. Hopefully he's going to earn more, so it should work out anyway. Great. Since he's a better fighter, Small Town Fights is interested, not just local. As you can see, Small Town Fights offers a hell of a lot more money for every fight. The only issue with it, as you go up the fight leagues, is that bigger leagues don't offer fights as often. So if I accepted the local contract, I'd get offered a fight for him in, say, the next month, and I could probably get a fight for the month after that and the month after that. Small town fights, more likely to spread them out, so at least maybe 2-3 months between fights, just so your fighter can get rest and perform better at every event. Also gives them more time to train and improve between fights. Leagues that aren't the local league will allow you to negotiate. They don't have as much leverage as the local league, and they're offering more money in the first place, so let's negotiate. Problem is, when you're negotiating, you are negotiating with a person. People are greedy, but they can also take offense if you're far greedier than the amount they've offered you already. So for example here, if I ask for the absolute maximum, so I'm asking for $6,000 for a main event when they only offered 4.2, that's a lot. So you're probably not going to accept that, and you'd probably be slightly insulted and think a little bit less of my gym. Yep. So he's upped his offer a little bit, but my reputation with that league is probably going down a bit, so any future offers may not start off as high. The only way to kind of offset that is not to be too aggressive in your negotiation. You don't wind up the person you depend on for money, but also to impress them in the fights. To do well, treat them fairly, and go out and try and put on the best show to make their events a success. So I'm going to accept that improved offer. And now, because it's a slightly bigger league and better organised, they know who's going to be available to fight. So you can actually see genuine people here that I can choose to put up against my fighter. The best option is always going to be the one at the top. The one at the top is the highest ranked fighter, and should be the best fight you can make for your fighter's career. So I'm going to accept. As you can see, because I'm getting paid better, the higher travel costs to California this time, so it's out of state, are offset by the better fight purse. However, I'm still going to be cheap because, like I say, small gym, trying to save money. And that's the end of the tutorial. There's lots more to do once you're out of the tutorial and the game starts to open up a bit more. You can upgrade your gym, you can buy equipment, you can cross-train, you can deal with the problems of cutting weight, fighters who get caught using PEDs, and even fighters who don't want to train. It's available on iOS and soon be available on Android as well. Thanks for watching.